And hello again, my friends. I'm Covenant Ironface and my partner, Dragmo Cress, and we represent TeamNO. You know, in a week, Fantastic Four has gone down pretty low. But we don't care, that was last week.
Glad to hear it, at least.
This week, it is A Man from U.N.C.L.E., based on a 1960s show, 1964 to 68, of the same name. And I gotta say, this is a beautiful fucking movie. I mean, there was almost nobody in the theater, but it's way underrated. There needs to be more people that go see this movie.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised that there wasn't more people. I mean, I know it's not a big box office hit. Like, you know, we're not talking something as amazing as any Marvel movie that's been coming out recently or the upcoming Star Wars. But it's been a good movie, so let's kind of roll right into it here.
Let's do it.
Our plot of this, for anyone that's checked out the trailers or anything, essentially a Russian bomb maker has vanished. I'm sorry, German bomb maker, forgive me. German bomb maker has vanished after the Nazis are defeated. And they believe that her daughter, Wow, I can't word.
Bad.
Let me start over there. They believe that his daughter may have contact with him, and both the Russians and Americans decide to go out and find her.
I gotta say, I was about to complain about this daughter, because I believe the American. I believe the Russian. They both seem, you know, legitimately in their roles, and then the daughter seemed really forced. Until they actually addressed that. And I'm like, oh my god, beauty! Beauty in this movie! I love it!
Yeah, not to ruin too much, there's a little bit more going on than initially starts, obviously. That otherwise it wouldn't be a good movie, but
we can't say too much, as, you know, it's a James Bond type spy movie, and talking just a little bit about each character will really ruin a lot of it. Just understand that the American is, you know, very suave, very smooth, walks into any situation, you know, and automatically at peace. Russian, juggernaut, brah, 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 brah. And the girl is actually pretty strong in her own right. Something that, I don't know, I never watched the original show, but I don't think that would have exactly fit, you know, from the timeline of when that was actually made.
You'd be surprised.
Maybe, but it seems really well in today's standards. Speaking of today's standards, this movie would not have gone well in the 60s. The crass language, the innuendo, oh my god, the innuendo in this movie really puts James Bond to shame.
Yeah, I was going to say, the American spy here is a real good reflection of James Bond in all his glory. What is it that it said during that one thing? Serial womanizer?
Yes, it did. At the very end, it starts playing through their files, and it's like, oh, well, this guy's got a problem. This guy does this. This guy does this. And he's a serial gambler and a serial womanizer and this and that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the movie, so don't worry about it. Not spoiler. I mean, that's pretty much what you'll get from the character anyways, but it was still pretty entertaining.
And to top it all off, this movie did, well, we're talking about the main characters, this movie did pretty well, especially with no real big name actors. I mean, like, I shouldn't say they're not unknown actors, but it doesn't just automatically pop up like Bill Nighy or any of the other amazing names.
But the one guy, that was the American CIA spook.
He does.
I can't think of his name, but he's been in several things. He's one of those guys that, I know that guy, I just can't think of who he is.
This provides two distinct advantages, though. Big name actors usually get typecast after playing the same role so much. So you don't see a lot of that here, which, like I said, that actually does really good. Each of these actors really well fell into their role.
Yeah, I think probably my only problem with this movie is, once again, you don't see the villain enough. I mean, they're real quick to, set up, hey, I'm the bad guy. I'm doing bad guy things. Yes, yes, but tell me more and, actually tell me what's going on.
Yeah, they didn't... The villains seemed very kind of 2D-ish, in my opinion. I mean, they're terrorists without a nation, and they don't even have a cause that we see. They're just, we're being bad guys because we're bad guys. Or money.
Yeah, or money. But, yeah, let's just move on from that.
If we look at since the characters are not important, the subcast, very James Bond-like, you have mostly a bunch of just henchmen, and I know I say that a lot of these times. Very particular important characters is we have the doctor, the torturer guy.
Yeah, but what you were saying about 2D, I mean, it's like, okay, as soon as we get involved and actually figure out who this guy is, oh, well, don't care about you anymore. Gotta move on.
But that was kind of hilarious in that case, because he was set up
well,
to feel...
how they did it, yes. I will agree, that was hilarious.
You run into each of their handlers for the two guys. They kind of point out, they make you feel like they're really their agents for whatever, but they don't show up in the movie much other than to tell them, here's your orders, this is what you need to do.
Don't forget, this is what I want you to do.
And the torture guy we were just talking about, he spends a little bit of time. He actually starts to come off as a pretty villainous and scary character. So he did well at that part, and then not soon after, well, he's talking about 2Ds, the character doesn't last that long, but he was a good key point in the movie. I kind of like the comedy there.
Yeah, and speaking of the comedy and the way this movie is filmed, is sometimes it kind of feels like a comic book, the way they shot it. It's like, bam, we got this. Oh, bam, we got this. Oh, bam, we got this. And for once, it felt right. And they did it so beautifully. And the scenes, absolute beautiful. And, I mean, it's the 60s, so it's supposed to look a little dirty, a little grungy. But they set it up so well. Thank you.
And yeah, and what he's talking about, that's something I really like on the cinematic done here. You actually see a lot of that in older well, not just spy movies, but a lot of older movies.
I know, but in this movie it really looked so beautiful that the way they did it. I would normally complain about it, the way it was done. But this way it was just so much class, so much wit, and so much comedy, and with a decent amount of action that you are entertained throughout the entirety of this movie. I cannot say it enough. More people have to go see this movie.
We see where he stands on it.
Yes, absolutely.
I definitely thought the movie was pretty good as well. The only flaws I think we saw so far is you see a lot of comedy, goofiness in spy movies like this occasionally. It helps lighten the mood, not make it so serious. There were a couple of times I think they pushed it a little bit too far, where it's just, this was pointlessly silly. But at the same time, I mean, it was funny. So it does have that going for it. I think too much more, though, and you guys they could have ruined the movie, but it is still worth going and see. Not very many people saw it, so apparently not many people know about it. But it's something to go check out.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. Please go watch this movie. It is awesome.
Tell everyone that you want a sequel by going and spending your money.
Yes.
Now, we're not quite sure where we're going to hit next week. Our plan is to go see Hitman, but we don't have a time yet. Apparently the tickets haven't been set up.
Which, from recent history, that's not spelling very good for the movie. But, it's on our list. We're going to hit it next week.
So, of course, we forgot to mention one thing. It's not a big hit movie. There was nothing after the credits, but it is, if you watch, instead of the credits, watch the stuff that's going on during the credits. It tells you a little bit more. That's where we were talking about the files.
Oh, that really reminds me. I'm glad I thought of this before we let go. The music. I normally don't talk about the music, but in this movie, the music was so perfect. And it was hilarious because it really sets the mood several times, And then a couple of times it's really ironic and adds to the comedy. Like when the Russians, going around doing Russian-y things, but there's cowboy music in the background.
Oh, yeah.
It was hilarious.
We really probably should try and hit up the music more often for the setup of scenes and stuff.
We should.
But, anyways, if you guys, of course, like what you see, go ahead and click like below. If you want to hang out with us more often, go ahead and click the subscribe button. We'd love to hear back from you, so leave a comment down below.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.